and I just got my hair dyed. It's black and green. Anyway, welcome to Nostalgia Tour. I'm here to talk about the big 3D trend of the early 2000s. So, starting in movie theaters with movies, obviously. And then next thing you know, we had 3D notebooks, trash can binders, other various school supplies, phone cases, clothes. Nintendo came out with a 3DS. Basically, it was the mustache trend of the 2010s, but replaced mustaches with 3D, and I'm pretty sure all early 2000s kids remember this noise. Yeah. 3D was certainly a big trend back then. So, The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl was one of the first 3D movies ever that came out with one of those half blue, half red glasses that, for me at least, never worked. They didn't do anything. I remember after Shark Boy and Lava Girl, it seemed like every movie was in 3D with those red and blue glasses, but the glasses never even did anything, at least for me. I remember being in theaters with those glasses on, and when you cross your eyes, seeing double vision. Yeah, so for me at least, when I would wear the half blue, half red glasses, you know when you cross your eyes and you see double vision, that's what I would see with them on, just one side would be blue, one side would be red, and that's it. They didn't really work. It felt like they were just slightly out of focus and I needed like something on the side to just make the pictures merge together. And then when I took the glasses off, I could see the movie in colors, but it was just in slight out of focus. I'm actually going to tilt you up a bit. There we go. Now you can see me. Yeah, and eventually I would just get tired of seeing it in half blue, half red, so I would take it off and just watch the movie in slight out of focus because the 3D wasn't 3Ding for me. And I couldn't have been the only one because after a while movie theaters would play one movie just had but one in 3D and one in regular. And a lot of people think Shark Boy and Lava Girl was the first ever 3D movie, but it is indeed not. The first 3D movie ever was actually all the way in 1922. Was in a 1922 film, The Power of Love, using a format called anaphotography. I probably mispronounced it, but it let the audience see the movie like they've never seen it before by watching it through special paper glasses with one red and one blue lens that you would hold up to your face. So instead of wearing them, you would hold them up to your face. And they had the movie that was playing filmed on special strips, because this was way back in where movies were on movie strips. It was done on a special film strip when with the red and blue format it would appear in 3D, and then the whole red and blue glasses thing was born. Was born with the classic red and blue 3D glasses, but 3D wasn't widely used because it did take a lot of resources and a lot of time to make those special film strips, and all the effort wasn't really well received with audience. So 3D films were eventually just kind of phased out. 3D films would continue to stay stuck in this limbo of saying they're 3D, but when you actually put the 3D glasses on, all it does is the double vision thing that I just explained, the red and the blue, and that's it. Not to mention that people would get headaches from looking at the 3D film for too long, and only a small portion of people actually saw the movie in 3D through those red and blue glasses, And for those people, I envy you. What is it like? Can you see the movie in color? Because the lenses are half red, half blue, so can you see it? Is it purple when you put it on, or is it... I wish I knew how they worked. I wish they worked for me. But yeah, there was a 3D boom in the 50s and 70s and 80s, only tweaking the 3D formula a bit, still using those red and blue glasses. So the 3D trend never fully seemed to stick. The 50s was seen as the golden era of 3D, with the trend of making horror movies 3D. Movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon, It Came from Outer Space, used creative framing and for certain scenes to give the audience a more 3D-like experience. By the 80s, horror movies were being made with the purpose of them being marketed as 3D experiences. Friday the 13th Part 3D, Jaws 3D were all released in the 80s as scary movies that come out and get ya. These movies, along with a few other 3D movies released at the time, did also have regular 2D releases in theaters next to the 3D one. Yeah, they would play at the same time. Also in the 80s, the rise of 3D films for educational purposes showing in museums and planetariums and stuff also became a thing. Planetariums, I mispronounced it. Also became a thing. IMAX, a film company, made it an a point to crack the 3D code and mathematically correct the 3D formula, which helped a lot with eye fatigue and eye pain and headaches that some would get when staring at the screen too long in their 3D glasses. They wanted to crack the 3D code and unlock the secret. The trend of 3D movies in the 80s didn't last for too long when they eventually became more popular by the early 2000s. By using CGI, you can make something look 3D without glasses. Well, it wasn't really 3D, but having something not 2D on a flat screen was seen as super impressive at the time, even though it looks very fake. It looks very fake now. And it wasn't just horror movies anymore. Every movie had some kind of big CGI thing in it. This, of course, brought us the groundbreaking scenes like the shark ship flying right at you in Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and the CGI slime flying at you in Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Soon the classic red and blue glasses were shortly swapped out for a regular looking pair of glasses or sunglasses, which for me, they were very hit or miss. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they just they didn't work, but they made the movie not fuzzy. Because remember, I used to take the red and blue off and just watch the movie in out of focus. Sometimes with the regular glasses, I put them on and it wasn't in 3D, but it was in focus, so yeah, very rarely were the regular glasses 3D for me. It just depends. I remember the first 3D movie that to me was actually 3D was Journey to the Center of the Earth in 2008, when I tried on those nerd glasses, as they were called. I was very impressed when the 3D was actually 3D. 3D was starting to become increasingly popular now that the 3D formula was finally down, cracked, and ready. Around the start of the 2010s, all of the red and blue glasses were replaced with fully new plastic glasses that kind of looked like sunglasses. They kind of looked like the ones I wear now. And although they were intended to be recycled and reused, it was pretty common for people to forget to throw their glasses in the special 3D glasses recycling bin. Some people would end up throwing them in the regular trash, or just keeping them, or just accidentally wearing them out. I remember during this time, I would see workers standing by the recycling bin, making sure everyone put them in, keeping them a little bit harder. Yeah. Now, some would simply just forget they had them on and would just wear them out of the theater. Others wanted to keep them because memories, but I remember a really big trend that was very popular in the 2010s was fake glasses. But not just any fake glasses, fake nerd glasses, so they had to be shaped like mine. If you look up hipster Disney princesses, they all have my glasses, and I remember during the 2010s, I had these exact glasses. I've had these since like middle school, and everybody thinking they were fake because of this trend. They asked which theater I got them from, and people would shine lights to see the glass because they're real in them. But yeah, everyone wanted fake glasses. They wanted fake nerd glasses, which were just thick square glasses, usually black being the most popular color. But they did make them in other colors, and that's what 3D movie theater glasses looked like. Kids and teens would often steal them from the theaters, pop out the lenses, and then wear them round. When Avatar, the Blue Cat movie, not the Last Airbender one, the highest grossing film for nearly a decade came out in 2009, it gave 3D a huge boost in popularity. Not only were more movies being released in 3D in the 2010s, but the 3D trend went to the next level with the invention of 3D home TVs. The first 3D TVs were meant to be used with glasses, but not long after, there were TVs being made that could be used without 3D glasses. They were 3D, but you didn't have to wear the glasses. These TVs, you could watch special channels. Yeah, you could watch special 3D Blu-ray DVDs or regular DVDs. There were very specific channels that only aired stuff in 3D. TVs weren't the only technology that got the 3D upgrade. The Nintendo 3DS came out in 2011. I still have mine. I forgot to grab it to show you guys, but I still got it. I got one since the 3D. Yeah. Where was I? It pretty quickly gained a following that. Yeah. Okay. I got one, and since the 3DS was the next installment of the line of the DS's, you had the DS, the DS Lite, I forgot the order the DS's came in, but there was a whole line of them where it seemed like every few years there would be a new one. It was pretty quick to gain a following that for players who had the 3DS who always play it with the 3D turned off. Now, I remember, I don't know how I did this, but I would always play it with the 3D on when I first got it. How? I don't know, because now when I play it, I get it messes with my eyes now. But yeah, the 3DS came with a little switch on the side of the screen to turn the 3D off. And as someone with the 3DS, everyone plays with the 3D off. It's fun for a while, and it does work. It does look like your game's really coming at you, but it does kind of mess with your eyes. Yeah, it has to be held a certain distance away from you, and yeah. For it to really work, you had to hold the DS a certain distance away from you, and it wasn't very good for long amounts of playtime because that's when it would start to mess with your eyes. So after the big boom of the early 2000s to 2010s-ish, So after the big 3D boom from the early 2000s to the 2010s, where is it now? Why aren't all movies in 3D? Everybody back then claimed that all movies should be in 3D now because it's revolutionary. The 3D formula has been cracked. Yeah, um, has been cracked. The movies can be in 3D, not double vision red and blue now, in actual 3D. So why isn't every movie in 3D? So as of 2023, 3D movies have mostly kind of went down with popularity. But there exists something called a 4D movie experience. Yeah, 3D tampered off, and in its place came 4D movies. So I've never been to a 4D movie before, but much like the first time 3D was invented, it just came and it went. From what I've heard, 4D was just a 3D movie, but with the lights, heat, cooling set to match the movie. So in the movie, if the main character is on a snowy mountaintop, the cooling will turn on and you would get cold to feel like you were really there. If the characters are in the desert, the heat would come on, you'd get really hot, you'd feel like you were there. That's the whole point. If they're partying and the lights are flashing, the lights in the movie theater would turn on and start flashing. And yeah, that's 4D. And that is the end of 3D. At least for now. Who knows when it will get picked up again. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for taking this nostalgic tour with me. I'll see you again next time. Bye.